A Gwinnett County widow ended up in a mental health facility when she found out she was going to lose her home. This is actually a really sad story about how everything played out, which ended up getting her evicted from a home that was hers. She owned it, had about $100,000 in equity in this home. And then it came into ownership by some corporation. I'm going to talk a little bit about how that happened in a minute. And basically that corporation ends up evicting her from a home that they never even really purchased in the first place. She never got a dime for all of the equity that she had in the home. So,
I know that had to hurt.
I
I mean,
honestly,
that's your life savings, basically.
I would have, oh my goodness, I hate to say I would have burned that house down, but it's like, if I ain't living here, nobody's living here. You ain't about to take my home and make profit off of it and snatch it out from under me.
I agree.
Yeah, it would have been a whole left eye situation. It's just, yeah, like, because I would have been so ticked off knowing that I keep my house in good shape, good condition. I got 6 figures of equity in it. And all of a sudden this company comes, steals it right up from under me.
Right out from under you.
And then I'm just going to leave. And it's like, no, you ain't going to have no house to rent out to nobody. That house going to be gone.
Right. So has this article, like, is it coming from a fraud perspective? Because I know the last episode we did was talking about that company that was like having people sign 40-year listing agreements. Or was this just like, so like, did somebody steal the deed? I can't really.
Yeah. So let's go through the story. So in 2024, because this article came out actually in September, so just about about a week ago. This article came out in 2025, but this all started back in 2024. So in 2024, Gravett is her last name. She signed up with Homesaver 911 to help avoid foreclosure. So Homesaver 911, I guess, is a company that, helps people avoid, foreclosure on their homes.
Give them some money or like a loan or something, right?
Exactly. Yep. She was able to get some money to help avoid foreclosure, but she had to sign over the warranty deed to her house. And so, they help her avoid foreclosure, but she signed over the warranty deed to her house as part of this program. So Homesaver 911 said that, people signing over the deed is supposed to be temporary. They give back the deed once you pay off the loan. So she goes to Homesaver 911, says, hey, I want to avoid foreclosure. I need a loan. She signs her deed over to Homesaver 911 in exchange for a loan. Homesaver keeps the deed, and once the loan's paid off, they give her the deed back. That's what is supposed to happen. But in this case, they signed the deed over to Georgia Venture Investment Company, who filed suit against Homesaver 911, claiming they were the real owner of the house. So rather than giving this deed back to the lady who owned the house, they signed this deed over to this investment company, and the investment company then filed a suit against Homesaver 911 saying that we're the real owner to the house. And so
that's what I don't understand. Georgia Venture Investment Company.
Mm-hmm.
No, Homesaver 911 is taking no responsibility for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're saying we didn't evict you, Georgia Venture Investment Company did. But wasn't Homesaver 911 the ones that was supposed to sign the deed back over to the homeowner and not this other company?
Exactly.
So what do you mean? Okay, yeah, you didn't evict me, but clerical error or whatever, you didn't sign the deed back over to the right person.
Exactly. They signed it over to this investment company, and then Georgia Ventures took her, the rightful owner, they took her to court in 2024 saying she agreed to sell her home to them in 2023 for $150,000 but backed out. And so in a default judgment, a Fulton County judge ruled that she must sell the home to Georgia Venture upon the plaintiff's payment of the purchase price and other monies required by the contract. So a Fulton County judge ruled that she had to sell her home to Georgia Ventures, or to Georgia Venture, the investment company. Um,
So they
but
basically sued her for specific performance.
it looks like, they made her sell it for, whatever, I guess the 150,000. I'm not sure. It doesn't specifically state how much she had to sell it to them for, but she didn't get any of that, that 100,000 out in equity out of it. She didn't get any of that. She didn't get any money, essentially. It's almost like she just gave them the home away, and they now own all of that equity that she had in the property. So when they did some of the investigation, and check the records, because anytime you have a sale of a home, there's a public record that should be made. A sales contract, a deed gets recorded, title. You should have a public record of something. So when they did a little bit of investigation in the Gwinnett County, in the records in Gwinnett County, and at the state court clerk's office, there's no record of a sale.
Found nothing.
Yeah, there's no record of a sale or closing, and no record of any money ever changing hands. So Georgia Venture got the deed because Home Saver 911 signed it over to them, not because they purchased the home. And so the sad part is that she was so distraught, as you imagine many people would be, that she was put into, what is it, like a mental health facility, yeah, because people were worried about her mental health and everything, and just her mannerisms, and how she just felt like depressed and everything. She lost this house that she had 6 figures of equity in, and all of a sudden it was just snatched from up under her. And so it's one of those things where currently she still does not have the house yet. My hope is that she will get the house back. That she keeps fighting this thing and realizes that, hey, this was not right. It wasn't accurate. It wasn't legal. Whatever happened, it was like, this was just, and I don't even see how things like this happen, honestly, because it's like, okay, you have an agreement. I give you the deed. You give me a loan, similar to like when you go to a title loan place. It's like, or a car title place. Like, I'm gonna give you the title to my car. You give me a loan for, $5,000, whatever. You keep the title to my car. But when I come back and pay you the $5,000, you give me the title back. But if I give you the title to my car and you give me $5,000, and then you go and sign the title over to some other company, and that other company now comes and says, hey, we're repossessing this car because it's ours and we own it now. It's like, well, how is that the case? I never gave you the title. It's like, well, this other company signed your title over to them, and now they have your title. And then a judge backs up this whole thing and says, hey, yep, they're the rightful owners. So you got to give up that car. It's like, but that was not the agreement. The agreement was $5,000. You get the car title. I give you the 5,000. I get the car title back. You can't just give that away to whoever you want to give it to. But that's essentially what happened, except in this instance, it wasn't a car. It was a house. She signed away the house deed, or not signed it away rather, but she took a loan in exchange for the deed to the warranty deed to the house.
I would have never did that. I'm sorry. There had to have been a better way to do that. Like, you could have if you had that much equity, why wouldn't you just go to like Rocky Mortgage, do a cash out refi, or get a home equity line of credit? Like, and who are these people? Home Savers 911, anything with 911 in it. I don't really want to be a part of it, first of all. And you say, how did this happen? I think it's because she didn't vet them. She didn't vet them.
No.
You got to vet folk. Who are they? I've never heard of them before.
Yeah.
Home Saver 911. It's just so much conflicting information, because if she's crying about $100,000, but they crying and losing her mind over $100,000, but she agreed to sell the house to him for $150,000, then obviously she owned the home, because most mortgages are 30 years. She had owned the home for 40 years prior to all of this happening. At this point, they say that she's been a homeowner for 40 years. So $150,000 is $50,000 more than the equity that she had. that she would have got had she just sold it, right?
Well, that's what they're saying was the purchase price, but we don't know how much the house is worth though. So like, let's say that house is worth 300,000, and they were like, well, she agreed to sell it to us for 150 2 years ago. And so if they were to purchase it for 150 now, but today, I mean, let's say that home's worth 300,000, that means that, you know, if they would have paid her 300,000 for the house, she would have gotten all that equity. But if they got it for 150 and that's what was owed on it, then she's not going to get anything.
So, okay, the only way that she could have lost 100,000 in equity, which is what the beginning of the article says, but would not have appreciated an offer for 150,000. See, I'm approaching this from the fact that I'm thinking that, okay, no, her house wasn't paid off because she did that to avoid foreclosure.
Exactly. Yeah.
So either the taxes wasn't paid or the mortgage or both. She probably took out some sort of secondary loan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then maybe it was a $200,000 loan. Maybe it was a $300,000 loan. The house is worth 400, so that's why she only had 100K in equity.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sell us your house for 150 and you owe 300 on this loan, you're gonna be upside down. Okay, so I get it now.
Yeah, like and it doesn't state how much the house is worth, and that's the big piece to know exactly how much, you know, because they're saying, oh, she offered to sell us the home 2 years ago for 150, which could be true, but it also could be a lie because there's no paperwork for that. You know,
they haven't produced no documentation, and even when they said they asked for the proof, they were like, oh, we've tried to remit the money to her several times and she just won't take it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, where's the proof that it's sitting in a trust account? Where's the proof that you have even done an outgoing wire?
And that's actually one of the things that the investigative reporter was doing when he was trying to, you know, figure out, you know, dig into the story and see like, hey, what's going on here? He was finding out, you know, all the stuff about there's no record of the sale that's going on. You know, there's no money sitting in an account somewhere waiting for her to pick it up. Like none of that exists right now. It's just them saying, oh, it's our property. And, you know, she had agreed to sell it to us for 150,000 back in 2023 and and everything. But I mean, going back to what you said, Home Saver 911 just sounds sketchy. And it could be a completely legit organization. I don't trust it unless I vet it. And based on this story, I definitely wouldn't trust it because you took somebody's warranty deed and signed it over to another company. And who knows the backdoor deal you cut with this other company, because they could have given you like, hey, you signed that deed over to us and then we're going to give you like $20,000. And now they get the deed to the house for 20K. Like, I have no idea. I'm completely speculating right now. That could be something that never even happened. But I'm just saying, I just don't trust it, especially after reading this story. I mean, you got all this equity in your home, like you said. I mean, the only reason I could think of that she would not have done a refinance or a HELOC is that if she was already facing foreclosure, she's probably already missed some payments. So her credit has probably already been shot. And she's in a situation where, yeah, no one's going to give you a loan because lenders love to loan money to people who don't need it. And she really needed it. So it's like, yeah.
And then it take what, 30 days to fund that loan, probably. She probably just didn't have it.
Yeah.
Have that much time. Home Saver 911, yeah, they probably gave her the money in 24 hours. You got the deed?
Yeah.
I don't understand that, though, the warranty deed. So you can get the warranty deed to your house. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. It's not like a car title. Like you have to pay it off in order to get the title, but you can sign over the warranty deed to your house, even if it's encumbered by some sort of loan still. Right?
I assume
how did she
so.
Have the deed to sign over?
Yeah. So, and I'll say this because, I'm assuming so. However, according to some mortgage contracts, depending upon what the type of mortgage is that she had, some of them have like a due on sale clause. So it's like once the home is sold, once the, you know, the ownership transfers,
We want our money.
all that money is due because whoever the new owner is, that lender's like, we don't know if they can afford the mortgage. We don't know who this other party is.
Yes.
So, I mean, once that thing transfers, usually there's like a due on sale clause where it's like, hey, now it's due. And if I'm the mortgage company and I still am owed however much money I'm owed from that home, I'm in this fight too. Cause I'm like, nope, they don't own that home. We have a lien on that home from the, the mortgage that this person had. We have a lien on that home, so they don't own it. We own it. And I don't know, maybe they paid off the mortgage company too. And it was just cheaper to pay off the mortgage company than it was to pay her all the money that she would have been owed if they had purchased this home outright, in a free and open market. There's just so much that it seems like went wrong here. But I hate to see people get taken advantage of.
Me too. And I'm sure she's probably a little older, and this is just as bad as them romance scams. Them people from overseas texting people here and trying to get them to send them money. And the older people are always the most vulnerable. But what was the name of the king in the Bible? Was it Herod? No, it wasn't Herod. I think it was Pontius Pilate. Whoever it was, the high priest, when he washed his hands and before the crowd, because he said, this Jesus blood ain't gonna be on my hand. Who was that?
Yeah, that was Pontius Pilate.
Pilate, okay. Brian McFarland, the founder of Home Saver 911, he is the modern day Pontius Pilate. He gonna talk about, we didn't evict her, we didn't put her out the house, that wasn't on us. He just gonna wash his hands of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is absolutely all your fault. You didn't. I don't know what kind of contract they had, but she should have been able to prove in her contract that this is what he said he was going to do once the loan was paid off, but this is what he did. The fault is with him. And honestly, Georgia Venture Investment Company are the ones that have a suit against the founder of Home Saver 911. Their fight is not, in my opinion, with the homeowner.
Yeah.
She's the innocent person in this story.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely devastating.
So I'll say it goes to show, because I mean, we talked about in varying ways different types of real estate fraud that's happened. Because like you mentioned, there was the one part that we talked about where this one guy was selling property that he didn't actually own to people and was drafting up fake deeds and acting like he owned the property, was collecting rent money. And I was like, I don't even know what this guy's end game was, because it's like at some point, some of these people were deceased that owned the property, but some of them, they were just out of town. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you this property I own. He's taking people's down payment money and everything. I'm like, this guy here, and I think it was out in Texas. Huh?
How was he even getting into these houses? Was he breaking in?
Well, no, he was having an agreement with, and he preyed on the military. So like he would have an agreement with the property owner. A lot of times military is like, hey, I'll get your home sold for you. So they would, give him the deed and the keys. He would get the home sold, and then he would give them the money after he sold the home, is at least what he was communicating to them. However, that wasn't what was happening. He was, selling one lot, or acting like he was selling one lot to like multiple different people, collecting rent payments on it from multiple different people. And he was just running this scheme. I think it was I forget what city it was, I think in Texas. But yeah, this guy was he had been doing this thing for so long. It'd been like over a decade. He'd been running this scam essentially. And it's like a lot of
fun while it lasted.
There's so much real estate fraud out there,
Yes, it is.
And it's unfortunate that, people kind of, because there's another case out in Texas. So much happens out in Texas, where there was essentially this area. It was a subdivision, but it was built in this horrible area. There was like no sewer, plumbing, or anything like that. So I mean, apparently it had like this rancid smell, and it just, what they were doing, this developer or whoever, owned this subdivision, they were selling these lots to people, but the terms were so outrageously ridiculous. And then they weren't telling these people all these issues that they had with, the plumbing and everything, and they were taking money from these people. And then when they stopped making their payments, they were like quickly foreclosing, taking the lots back, and then selling them to more people. And a lot of the people that they targeted were immigrants. So they were really targeting immigrants to, take what they could from them and resell these properties. I have to pull up that story because it was actually a major one of the biggest cases of real estate fraud that's happened, in this country. I mean, it was like over, I think, 100 or 200 houses or something like that in this subdivision that they were just like churning, essentially, like getting someone in there, taking their money, and then as soon as they miss a payment, then boom, kicking them out and turning it on to the next one, because there was like fees that were hidden in there that they weren't telling them about that ended up increasing how much they would end up owing. And it was just a bad deal all around. So, I mean, a lesson to the listener: read everything.
Please read.
Like, read everything. Don't take anything at face value and just say, oh, we're good and I'm, do whatever. Like, no, don't even just trust your mortgage lender. Don't even just trust your real estate agent. Don't trust, your best friend or your cousin or, whoever. Trust yourself to read the documents carefully. Everything that, you're signing, read it so you know what it is that you're signing. I actually use this time to take a little plug. I actually got a book coming out later this year. But it's actually going to be telling people all about how they can purchase a home and things that they need to look out for. And I put a lot of stuff in there when it comes to mortgages as well, because that's a mystery that a lot of people don't understand. Is the mortgage world. And so I put a lot of stuff in there about mortgages. There's stuff in there about real estate as well. Some stuff about, some negotiation stuff and everything like that. But it's basically to help educate people on what you need to know to successfully be able to purchase a home, starting from wherever you're at right now, to get you through the closing table. So that's actually going to be coming out later this year. Figure I just put that out there because, one of the most common things that I come across as a loan officer in the mortgage industry is that a lot of people don't understand a lot of all the moving parts in the mortgage industry. They don't understand the credit. They don't understand debt to income ratio.
Right.
They don't understand loan to value ratio, the difference between what loan to value ratio, which has to do with your down payment, versus debt to income ratio, which has to do with how much you make compared to how much you pay every month in debt. They don't understand what a due diligence period is or financing contingency and how those play into whether or not you get to keep your earnest money and have it applied to the purchase, or whether you back out and you end up losing your earnest money. They don't understand what earnest money is. So I explain all of that stuff in the book because I really, really just have a heart to educate more people when it comes to home ownership. So.
Okay, y'all make sure y'all get the book.
Yep. Buy one for a friend.
Price gonna go up after it's been on the market a while. You ain't doing no price reductions. This ain't no house. It's a book about trying to tell you how to get a house.
Oh, yes. I mean, one $20 book could save you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in a home.
Absolutely.
I can't think of a better investment or Christmas gift. But yeah.
Period. Yep.
So yeah, but no, this is a sad story, but I'm hoping that everything turns out well for her. So,
me too.
Well,
help her, Lord, help her, Jesus.
Yes. On that note, make sure you tune in on Fridays for the next episode that will be dropping on the Greatest Asset Community Podcast. Tune in on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Live will be going on YouTube for Home Finance Hacks. And until next time, take care. Be blessed. We'll see you next week.